And then there were 8, 3 races left to twist your fate. 8 drivers with a clean slate. The rest of the field, you're too late. The Dark 8 is the doorway to Hell's Gate. Now, who gets the championship date?
Tonight, the chance to decide who battles for the Lightning 4. It's been a busy time in the Dark 8, but now, as the clouds settle over Michigan, it's the battle to see who emerges from those clouds for a chance to battle for the title at Homestead, Miami. Welcome to the Thunderclap iRacing Series playoffs presented by TLC Incorporated from iRacing's virtual Michigan International Speedway. We're here on Grid Vision tonight, looking to see who advances here from the Irish Hills of Michigan. Justin Prince, Brian Britt, Austin Darbyshire producing as we get set to see who comes away with the prestigious 4 spots for the title. The roads all lead through one place though. It leads through Brooklyn, Michigan to see who survives this 2-miler circuit.
Definitely going to be an exciting one tonight, Justin. I mean, this track is so intense, and these Xfinity cars a lot of times are very difficult to drive. Of course, you mentioned this being a 2-mile racetrack, very hot on the track surface compared to what you would expect from a track like Michigan. Of course, 91 degrees trackside, so that is going to cause, I think, a little bit of a slipping and sliding as well. These cars already have some slipping and sliding, so we'll have to wait and see what these guys are going to be able to do. I know some guys are in some must-win scenarios, though. If they don't win tonight, they might not move on to the Final Four.
And with it being build night as well, anything can happen, especially in a turnaround of less than 12 hours. Let's see which drivers have to turn things around tonight and which drivers are coming into Michigan comfortably in the next moment or so here for Thunderclap action. It's a busy time on the schedule as well here on Grid Vision. We mentioned it being a build week. There's still NIS competition at Kansas this weekend. That coverage 9 p.m. Eastern time. Then the major series goes jumpy truck racing. The pro trucks come out to Crandon at 9 p.m. Eastern time. Then a doubleheader night because 2 different broadcasts on Sunday. Global Racing League and then additional action from Atlanta by the evening. Catch y'all on Grid Vision here this week on what is a very busy build week. But speaking of the pressure and drivers needing to get busy to perform well tonight, let's take a look at how things are entering tonight. Remember, last time out, Jordan Jurassic put himself into a position to battle for the championship, getting himself a clinch. In turn, remember, when it comes to if you get a win in this respective round, you advance. Simple as that. You have Jurassic, you have Ryan Truex. Sean Bounty actually has more points than both of them. And in turn, Roger Diebold is inside the top 4. Cherry, Garrett, Tyler Truex, and John Freeman all need wins. Those drivers as far back as 76 points in the case of Freeman after a move last time out. Jordan Jurassic already in panic mode because John Freeman missed the qualifying, Brian, meaning if he doesn't get to the track in the next couple minutes, there's a chance his playoff is done.
That's unfortunate because I know Jurassic, we talked to him last week after the race, and he was like he was going to really focus the majority of his efforts, I do believe, on helping John Freeman get into. He wanted to have their team both up in the playoffs for the Final Four, I should say. So that's going to be possibly making one of these guys not make it. We're definitely going to see how that kind of plays out. I mean, of course, Jordan Jurassic, like you said, probably sweating bullets right now. But, of course, a lot of other drivers are as well. I know Tyler Truex is in somewhat of a bad spot as well. I think he's in a must-win. Sean Bounty, of course, was already, I do believe, our Xfinity Series champion, regular season champion. So I expect a strong fight from him here today. I think he's pretty much going to be pointed in pretty easily. Roger Diebold, kind of a question mark beside that driver, as well as Matt Cherry.
Some great news, because just after I finished that sentence, John Freeman did make his way into the garage area with about 90 seconds to spare, meaning the 5 car will have to start at the back of the field after missing qualifying and basically the entire drivers' meeting for tonight's action. But of course, when it comes to Michigan, it's not like, say, the trucks or the cup cars in terms of it being like a pack race. Dirty air's a big factor here we've seen over the years, especially when it comes to line sensitivity and how much it can spread apart.
Yeah, and also I think the brake pedal might actually get some use here as well. Usually you don't really use that much at Michigan, especially in the trucks. But in the Xfinity car, definitely is going to be your friend. I mean, these cars are very hard to get to turn sometimes, especially when the tire wear starts to get really, that could be a variable. I think that brake pedal could be very useful. We'll have to wait and see how that plays out. But like you said, dirty air is going to be key here. Whoever qualifies up front, I think they're probably going to end up staying there. And that's going to be, I think that the clean air is going to lead to better tire wear.
We'll see what happens here tonight. Just a couple minutes away from tonight's starting grid. Tonight's action brought to you in part by TLC Incorporated, the premier service provider for lawn sprinklers, landscape lighting, drainage services, and garage makeovers. With nearly 40 years of experience. In just one day, your home can become a showcase with new water-saving lawn sprinkler systems, an energy-efficient landscape lighting system, or a brand new garage makeover and floor that will last you a lifetime. Imagine all the possibilities if you gave your yard just a little TLC. Operating in the Maryland, D.C., and Virginia area, call 888-PIC-TLC for more information. Just past the clock and just about ready to advance forward here for tonight's action. 20 cars entered for tonight's racing from iRacing's virtual Michigan International Speedway. Let's find out how they'll start tonight for the final race of the Dark 8. And the chance for drivers to lock in to the Lightning 4 to battle for the title in Thunderclap. An intense qualifying session sees things organized as such. Up on the pole, it's Jordan Jurassic. He put up a 38.9. That was 7 tenths, nearly 8 tenths, in fact, quicker than Matt Cherry. Matt Garrett starts off third with Sean Bounty in fourth. All those drivers in the 38.9s. Robert Walton starts off in fifth tonight, the first driver with a chance to play spoiler in this round in terms of starting position, with Tyler Truex in sixth. Greg McConey starts alongside John Freeman, who after missing the final warm-up did put up a qualifying time before barely making it back to the track. TJ Lee starts off ninth, and Anthony Burleson rounds out your starting top 10 from MIS.
Of course, 11th place, Roger Diebold. We talked about that driver having a little bit of a question mark. He is just on the edge above the cut line here for the Final Four. 12th place, Tommy Allen Jr. 13th, Noah Rainwater. I know drop top there, a raindrop, I should say, was out, I do believe, last round. But he's definitely going to be out here and trying to learn some things. Of course, 14th place, Reed Foley has been really fast at these style racetracks. 15th place, Daniel Half. 16th, Robert Condon. 17th, Joshua Koener. 18th, Brandon Schumann. 19th, Greg Vile. We know he's really good at tracks like this as well. And Kyle Newkirk rounds out the 20th position.
That rounds out the starting grid in turn for tonight's action as we get just about set to go here from Michigan International Speedway. Again, tonight's distance, 125 laps here at this 2-mile circuit. Tonight's stages, laps 15 and 35, so getting those done very quickly, but a 60% fuel tank likely to cause a lot of potential pit stops here tonight. In turn, as we get set for the final race of the Dark 8, first things first, your keys to win here tonight.
Keys to, I think it's going to be tire wear. I think that's going to be the big thing. I think you're going to find that you're going to be very fast in the early goings here, but you're going to want to be a little bit cautious on how you kind of overstretch your equipment here. You really just want to all be about saving tire and trying to go for clean air as well. So it's going to be a hard line to walk, that's for sure.
Of note, Ryan Truex not here for a second consecutive race since locking into the championship finale. Who's your pick to try and lock in here tonight?
Tyler Truex. I think he is the one that's going to be desperate. He has got to win, essentially, in order to make it in to the Final Four, and I think we're going to see him try to do it.
Jordan Jurassic, who locked in last time out, is in yellow and is once again on the pole. the Rocket Man of Thunderclap, gets it set to go with pole number 9. Green flag is out. We're underway from Michigan.
Yeah, what a job for him to be able to get that many poles this season. As they go double file into turn 1. Jurassic, of course, in the lead right now, but Matt Cherry, that top groove at Michigan a lot of times can be the strongest line, but he does not have any help. It is strength in numbers. Even though it's not really pack racing, there is still strength in numbers at this racetrack.
Matt Cherry, though, down the back straightaway, able to make the move and clear on by for the lead. Just like that already, our first lead change, not even within the first lap. Also, Mustos using the second groove bounty. A few drivers trying to use the apron. One slowing up John Freeman with a massive save at the back of the field. We stay green.
Wow, he lost a lot of positions based on that. He is going to fall to the rear. I do believe now 20th place. Almost 3 wide. We are 3 wide for the lead. As we see, I do believe Matt Cherry in the middle. Bounty up top. Jurassic on the bottom. I don't know. I think we're getting ready to go 3 wide again here. These guys are putting on a heck of a show as Jordan Jurassic, our pole sitter, falls to 3rd.
Back to single file. Keep in mind, you can't really utilize under that first groove too much. That is a slight bit flatter, Brian, and causes a lot of drivers to snap around, as we've seen over the years.
No, you're 100% correct. I mean, that bottom groove, especially in these cars, I say you in the next gen in the truck, you could use that bottom groove a lot more successfully. But this next gen, or this Xfinity, just doesn't like it as much. I mean, you can see that most of the track, the field is running about that middle groove. You see Jurassic, he's running a lot lower. Now, one thing you talk about that, that bottom line kind of being somewhat forbidden, but I think that really it might be good at saving tires. And I think Jurassic knows that.
Underneath the first seam in that reference. Not too much in 3 and 4, though. Outside of Jurassic, everyone else staying above the second seam. Already quickly to about 12 to go at the stripe in stage 1. Alonso's already picking up spots. Greg Vile up 4 spots at the back of the field. 3 spots for Roger Diebold. Here's a look as the pack's already starting to form up. 15th on back has already lost a second to the main group.
And that could have something to do with dirty air. I mean, these cars are pretty much essentially bricks going through the air here. And when you disrupt that clean air over the top of these race cars, they become a little bit tighter or squirrely. It just really depends on where you're at on the racetrack. You see a lot of side-by-side battling there. Reed Foley trying to battle, I do believe, with Noah Rainwater. They're verging on possibly going 3 wide here. As we see the battle for 5th place right there on your screens.
This is one of the new updates coming into this week. The new battle box. And this is how close the cars are within the top grouping. 5th to 14th. All within 2 seconds of Tyler Truex 5th on the racetrack. That can happen in the early going on the short run. Keep in mind, Tyler Truex is in the lead draft group. There is that cushion building up massively between Walton and Greg McConey.
Yeah, last time by, I think we saw Reed Foley, one of the fastest drivers on the racetrack right now. Robert Walton, he's been really impressing me. He actually was the fastest that last time by. So we're seeing a lot of drivers really showing a lot of pace right now. But I just don't feel like you want to be really fast early going. I think the first 5 laps are going to be incredibly important to the rest of the run. Now, of course, this is a short stage, so I think a lot of these guys are willing to take a little bit of risk, especially for stage points. So we'll definitely have to see how that changes as the run goes on. When we have those kind of longer fuel run, then I think these guys are going to prioritize probably saving tire a little more.
So basically, all your drivers within the dark 8, except for John Freeman, are inside the top 7. Keep in mind, we mentioned the 5 having to make a major save in 3 and 4. That was after contact, it appears, with TJ Lee. And as a result, Freeman is 6 seconds behind the rest of the leaders because of damage to the right rear. He will need that stage caution to come quickly to repair that car, by the way, because of the aerodynamics here in Michigan.
And it's seeming like it's kind of hard to pass right here, especially on the shorter run. So he is in a must-win. So he's kind of, the alarms are sounding here. So we're going to take a look at this. We see TJ Lee enters very narrowly, doesn't really extend the entrance of the corner like he should have. He should have kind of arced it a little bit more and doesn't. So he comes up into Freeman, and that's just unfortunate.
And did you know today, as part of the new build, there is the new damage model in effect on these cars? So add that to your list of, okay, let's find out how the damage model works now in this car. A perfect time. Not if you're John Freeman, though, with the championship on the line.
Yeah, I'm wondering. I really was very curious when I heard about that. And all 3 NASCAR cars, I do believe, are featuring this new damage model. So I'm not sure what they changed. I think we're going to get definitely a hardcore course to see what happens.
Well, for reference, with the trucks we've seen, tie rods being broken. Now,
oh, wow.
In this case, you can see the fender all crumpled in and inside the wall a little bit. But in that mark, just having this amount of damage is hurting him on speed by 0.2 a lap. Everybody else is running a 39-second bracket.
Well, yeah, it makes a lot of sense, too. I mean, especially at a track like this. I mean, if we were at a short track, I don't think it would affect him that much. But because we're at this kind of a track that's so aero-dependent, that really changes the handling of the race car. The way the air kind of goes over his race car, as we see, of course, Robert Walton trying to see if he can possibly get up there to Tyler Truex. But Truex is really hounding Matt Garrett right now, trying to see if he can work up to 4th.
Still not able to make a pass quite yet. We've seen the top line be very impactful for moves. Garrett getting some help from Tyler Truex in all this. And it's almost looking like the teammates are starting to coordinate a little bit. Try and plan things out, because those are 3 cars in a line who all work together throughout the campaign, whether under Greg Vile's team or whether under Tyler Truex's group.
It's just looking right now like it's going to be incredibly hard to pass. I'm seeing, I almost feel like maybe the best call as the tires wear might be not to jump underneath someone, and maybe get that front nose above someone, because I think that's where the runs are going to come, running that top side, like you were saying. As we see side-by-side Bounty now battling with Jurassic. I think Jurassic's actually challenging for 2nd right now.
Jay Wild back to the inside. And he's been one of the very few confident enough to use the flat that time, Bounty, using the squeeze. Able to hold him off once again. But that's opened the door for everybody else. There's the slipstream, and there's the door left open on the top for the move.
Yeah, I think he's really playing out a cautionary tale right now, showing these guys that if you try to challenge for a position, you're going to get left out to dry. And I think that's pretty much what's happened with Jordan here. He's going to probably fall back to possibly 6th here. And so he's definitely learned a valuable lesson. I think a lot of these other drivers have as well. As you can even see Tyler Truex kind of pushing Matt Garrett. He looks like he's almost bump drafting him to try to get past Jurassic here.
Yeah, that's been kind of the main focal point in all this. He has pushed a lot down the front. Now Tyler Truex up to 4th. Robert Walton passes for 5th in the Tyler Truex machine. And Jordan Jurassic, as predicted, back to 6th. Coming up to 3 to go in the stage, by the way. And the 67 of Cherry still holding on up at the point. The Kentucky-based driver, go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'm telling you who's been a big mover in this race, Roger Debo. He started in 11th place. He's up to 7th right now, and he's all over the 6th right now.
Well, he needed to get a move on it quick. He's using the top line turn. Now back to the middle within the draft. He was running up in the wall, especially in 1 and 2 notice, to be able to close this gap up from this pack to TJ Lee's group.
I mean, there's been a lot of drivers that have not been able to pass very much. I mean, we have not really seen a lot of big movers. But Debo has been the difference. He's been the exception. So I don't know what that Ford, I know this is a fixed setup. You can't really do a lot of things to the race car. As we see a big move here from Tyler Truex, trying to drop to the bottom. You see Roger Debo trying to see if he can get a sniff of that draft. I do believe we're coming, I do believe we're now 2 to go. And there goes Matt Garrett around. He saves it. What a save.
Massive save and a massive checkup. No contact. We stay green for the rest of the grouping. But with less than 2 to go on the stage, this likely to close it out. Here comes Lee trying to go 4 wide down the backstretch. Diebold, 1 lane up. Now he bounces off Garrett. Another save. Diebold holds onto it. And Matt Garrett gets shuffled all the way around, coming to the white flag in stage 1. Final time around in stage 1, brought to you by RL Productions. 3 wide still at the back of the group.
Wow, this is nuts. We didn't even hit the white flag and they were racing like that. That's just crazy to see that. I cannot wait to see what the end of this race looks like. But, of course, you can't play bumper cars too much. I mean, these guys are definitely testing out that new damage models. We still see some hard racing here. Foley taking the top, getting a big run on Diebold here. He's in the groove that you want to be in. He's getting a good draft on, I do believe, McConey. McConey, of course, challenging Jurassic right now for 6th.
Some of these points going to be very valuable. Diebold trying to pick some up. Able to hold off Foley, looking to try and, in fact, pass Jurassic as he gets tight. Green and white checker flag of the stripe. Matt Cherry wins the stage over Bounty, Walton, Tyler Truex, and Garrett. Connie, Diebold, Foley, Lee, and Burleson amongst the top 10 at the time of the caution flag. So with that, we're first time now under the caution, brought to by Eagleswood Creations. Your stage 1 winner, Matt Cherry. We'll take a break. Strategy to come into play when we come back here on Grid Vision.
SRI Performance. With over 400 product lines representing the top manufacturers in motorsports, we are your one-stop shop for everything racing. 3 of our brick-and-mortar stores are located in North Carolina, and our newest facility in Brownsburg, Indiana. And 4 trackside mobile stores. You can find us spread out throughout the nation. With industry-leading knowledge, we are only a phone call away to visit our customer service experts. And don't forget, we have the world's largest inventory of used race parts. SRI Performance, and stock car steel and aluminum for everything racing.
Hey, Bob Carr here at TLC. Take a look at some of the specials we're running at TLC right now. Hey, Bob Carr here with TLC. Storms are in the forecast, so if you have a problem with water standing in your yard, in your basement, now's the time to give us a call here at the office at 410-721-2342. We'll be glad to provide you with a free, no obligation drainage proposal for your property. Give us a call here at the office at 410-721-2342 or hit the link below. We'll respond back to your email, set you up for a free, no obligation quote for your drainage needs. Let's solve that once and for all. Hey, Bob Carr here with TLC. Now's the perfect time to have your landscape lighting system tuned up for the upcoming summer months. Give us a call here at the office at 410-721-2342. And let's get you some light out there. Hey, Bob Carr here with TLC. Hope you guys are enjoying this race. Let's take it down to the booth and get updated on what's going on.
Welcome back to Grid Vision as we get set for Stage 2. Justin Prince and Brian Brett alongside Austin Derbyshire as we get all set to get back underway under our first Eagleswood Creations caution. Brought to you by Eagleswood Creations, your one-stop shop for your laser engraving needs. From wood to acrylic, custom signs, earrings, keychains, coasters, and much, much more. Located in West Creek, New Jersey, but shipping nationwide. Items can be purchased and custom made via Etsy or through their website at eagleswoodcreations.com. Follow them today on Etsy, Facebook, and Eagleswood Creations on Instagram. One correction just given over at the PA to the official race tallies for this stage. Jordan Jurassic at the time of the stripe was ruled to be in 10th position. The pass initially made by Burleson was just after the stripe according to race control. Also, with this caution period, John Freeman's been able to get at least some of the damage repaired. About 52 seconds worth, in fact. Let's see what that 5 machine can now do over the course of the next 15 laps. Make it 16 as we get set to get back underway. Stage 2 going to lap 35, Brian.
Yeah, what's really interesting, though, looking at all the guys' times that they spent in pit road here, I got 7.1 for a lot of these drivers that are in the top 7. I do see some guys that took 2 tires. Matt Cherry, who won Stage 1, took 4 tires. I like that call. I think tires matter quite a bit here, and I think he's going to be able to drive through the field. I'm surprised these guys are gambling so much with not taking tires and 2 tire stops.
First on 2 tires is Matt Garrett. The first on 4 is Cherry. The only other drivers to take tires, Lee, Newkirk, Corner, Schumann, and Freeman. Everybody else topped off or took fuel only. But with how things are sorted, Sean Bounty setting up on the outside, inside Robert Walton. Then it's McConaughey and Foley, Jurassic and Tyler Truex, Garrett and Diebold amongst your top 4 rows.
Interesting to note, I should mention before we get started, Diebold did not spend any time in his box from what I'm showing.
Now that could be interesting if that's the case. Do see a 6-second tally, but a quick stop at 34 seconds in the lane. Average was up to 31 to 34. Back on our way, Bounty the control car as we roll through the TLC restart zone. Already starting to shuffle. Remember, Garrett on 2 tires, Cherry on 4 is already in the top 10.
Yeah, I think we're getting ready to learn a lot here in this turn 1. We're going to see a lot of drivers probably having some issues here, with handling. See a little bit of a blinking issue there from Greg McConaughey. He's getting tight. Cuts off Jordan Jurassic. But here comes Reed Foley for the lead. And he is going to have a huge run going into turn 3.
Where did that run come from for Foley? A strong start for the pink 15. Oh, that's well. Cherry is already up to the top 4 on the freshies. Garrett having a very loose car, drifting back to 8th on 2 tires.
I mean, look at the speeds from Cherry versus everybody else. He's about he's over half a second faster than everybody else right now. So it's no wonder that he's able to drop his way so quickly up to through the field. So I think he's definitely showing that tires matter. Of course, these guys, I do believe, have only 4 sets available to them tonight.
So he's already utilized 1 of those sets. You do the math after the next stage 2 available, if needed. At least after stage 2. Inside for second. Now inside for the lead. Matt Cherry quickly is going places. It's to the front. He led 17 laps already coming into this restart.
And I have a feeling, even though draft is so important at this racetrack, with new tires, he's going to drive away. He's probably, that's something that you don't a lot of times see at a track like Michigan, but he's got new tires. He's probably going to get away. Sean Bounty, though, is starting to hound Foley, trying to continue to gain points. Of course, here comes Diebold, I do believe, trying to get side-by-side with Tyler Truex.
Not able to do so too much. Matt Garrett, meanwhile, does not look comfortable. He's now the lead car in pack 2, basically, and he's been all over the track. Loose on the bottom, tight off the top. Top and tight, bottom and tight, everywhere drifty tight, everywhere so tight he's loose, and now he's having to play the lines. That car does not seem to want to turn.
And that probably has something to do with it. I think, didn't you say he took 2 tires? That a lot of times does not work out. I mean, just considering one set of tires or one side of the race car has a lot more heat in it than the other. And it takes a little bit of time for that to equalize temperature-wise. And it's going to cause him to struggle. It's a wonder that he's able to drive this race car. It definitely seems like he's struggling. But he's holding on. He's, of course, sitting behind Jurassic at the moment. He's got Noah Rainwater, I do believe, side-by-side behind him with Burleson.
Yeah, you see them trying to line up and try and sort out how to get past the 3. Already about 12 to go in the stage.
Yeah, stuff is flying right on by right now. These guys, you would think a lap time at Michigan. Oh, we got some movement here.
Tyler Truex nearly knocked the wall down. McConaughey also got tight. The official word is now in on the points tallies, by the way. Matt Cherry, who's up by 1 second in the lead. With that win in stage 1 and the points picked up, there is 2 points in at the cut line. Roger Diebold is the first out, so Diebold needs to move and move now to keep up.
Yeah, and if Matt Cherry, wins this race, I mean, that's pretty much going to answer the question right there. And, of course, just him winning these stages, I mean, I think it's clear he's probably going to win this stage unless we see some sort of caution that allows these guys to maybe make some sort of other strategy call. But for now, I mean, he's 2/10 faster than the rest of the field for the most part. I am surprised, though, to see Greg McConaughey, the speed that he's showing right now. He's showing some really valid speed. He's not that far off of what Matt Cherry's hitting lap time-wise.
Yeah, and he's been the surprise of the Dark 8 because, remember, he was a playoff driver in the earlier rounds. got eliminated in the previous round, and he's been one of the better drivers outside the playoffs. In fact, he's the best driver currently out of the postseason. With 3,187 calculated points to the tally, this has been his best stretch of races. The problem is, came a little bit too late to battle for the championship.
I think we might have just had something go wrong for Matt Cherry. Cherry he lost about a half a second there on that last lap. I think something might be wrong with that race car. I'm not sure what happened. If he maybe hit the wall, we might need to take a look back and see exactly what just happened with the 67. He might have had a loose condition or something, but that gap that he had between him and Foley disappeared in a second.
Let's take a look. It's more so the lap before, and watch this run here from Reed Foley coming through here. He seems to be trying to let the tires breathe, and here it comes Reed Foley pushing the tempo.
Oh, so this might have been just I don't know if he was just trying to kind of, like you said, let the tires breathe, but he put himself in a precarious situation right there.
Yeah, that could have got really dicey for a second. Cherry has kept the gap up to half a second, though, since that respective move.
All of this toying with him.
I don't know if that's toying with. If I was someone on fresh tires, and then your speed dropped that rapidly, I've had people ask me over the radio, "Are you trying to do exactly that?" The tires actually have melted into Swiss cheese by that point.
Yeah, I get that, because it can kind of promote a little bit of, I'd say, unearned confidence, a little bit too much for you to overdrive it. I'll tell you one driver that's coming through the field, though, right now, Joshua Kohner. He was back outside of the top 15. He's on new tires. He's up to 8th right now. He is moving.
You see just how things settled out on the replay. The drivers now within 7 to go in Stage 2. Unofficially, the tally's looking good for Sean Bounty, though. With his performance in Stage 1, he's unofficially in the Lightning 4. That leaves just one spot for a race winner, mind you, likely, to move into the Lightning 4 for the championship. Cherry in the best spot right now to do that with how things stand. Bounty in on points, Brian.
And here comes Kohner side by side right now with Walton. He is flying right now. Last time by 40.315, fastest lap on the race by of the field right now by far. This guy is flying, and usually we don't see Kohner up in the top 10, so this has got to be a big confidence builder for this driver. Oh, he's going to get a little tight on Walton.
Walton more so a little tight on him. Kohner did take tires during the caution, but I found it strange at first, Brian. I noticed he was running 15th, not making moves. Guess what? Green light's on. It's time to make passes to upset Stage 2. 5 to go in the stage coming up. He's inside the top 5.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I think he could win this stage. I think it's wholly possible. I mean, he's running faster than Cherry. Now, of course, Cherry could have been saving himself. We'll have to wait and see. This is interesting. I think Kohner made the smart decision. He was like, I'm gonna save tire a little bit on the first 5 laps. Oh, he's getting really close to hitting Greg McConaughey. A lot of these drivers are not wanting to let him go.
Had to check up for McConaughey. You see the battle box for first. You see the speed differentials, too, down some of these straightaways getting massive in some of these circumstances. There's the corner speed. The difference, though. Kohner able to gap by away from Tom Truex. Not able to clear on by McConaughey, though, despite having 15-lap fresher tires.
Well, you got to also keep in mind, I mean, he drove from like 15th or plus 15 all the way up here to 5th. So, I mean, that had to have some sort of an effect on his tires. He might end up plateauing here, and I think that's kind of what's happening.
Still a few laps to be able to decide things. Cherry, by the way, still up by half a second, maintaining the gaps.
You see right there, he just got loose. I think he's starting to have some struggles. I think he might have overheated and overextended a little bit there.
There he is trying to hook those left side tires on the first seam. Not really working there. Now 3 to go. Currently depoted the last of those on stage points inside the top 10. Bad stages for Freeman and Garrett again. Especially Freeman. He only gained 1 spot, maybe 2, that entire stage. Garrett on the 2 tires lost about 6-7 seconds on the racetrack.
I'm just curious to see what this is going to look like for the race win, because I don't think stage wins are going to mean much now. I think that it's all going to be about who can win this race. That's what's going to get you into the Final Four, I do believe. So what are these guys going to be willing to do? I mean, the desperation is going to make for a very exciting atmosphere later in this race.
See some coordination between the 35 and the 12. Bounty getting a push from McConey. The next level motorsports cars working together. Now Reed Foley in the JCR entry looking to follow the train. Pit road is closed. 2 to go in stage 2. Corner jumps in front of Foley on the choo-choo train.
Yeah, keep in mind what we saw last time when we were 2 to go. I mean, and in stage at the end of stage 1, it got pretty crazy. And I think we're going to get there again.
Another look for a push. No major push. For the most part, things looking very calm for the most part for the 67 of Cherry. 1 to go, stage 2. Brought to you by RL Productions. Cherry up by 9/10. Now McConey trying to pass by Bounty with Bounty good on points. He wants spots.
Yeah, I think Greg McConey, he knows, he's like, I'm not in the playoffs anymore. I'm here to win a race. And I think that's what Foley is got in his mind as well. You know, a lot of these drivers, that's what makes it difficult for some of these playoff drivers. They're like, you know, we got these guys that it doesn't matter points-wise for them. They're just kind of devil-may-care attitude. But the playoff guys, they have to deal with that attitude.
This is all while we come up to the end of the stage. Green and white checkered waving at the stand. Matt Cherry sweeps stages 1 and 2. 67 does over McConey. Bounty Foley corner. Truex Jurassic. Rainwater Walton Diebold. Your top 10 for the Eagleswood Creations caution are second, both for stage cautions today. So Matt Cherry racking in the points in an important race to do so. We'll take a quick break. More coverage here on Grid Vision after this break.
Eagleswood Creations, your one-stop shop for wood, acrylic, custom engravings such as signs, boards, earrings, and much, much more. You can follow them today on Facebook, Instagram, or you can check out their website, eagleswoodcreations.com.
Hey homeowners, you're going to drag your hose through the yard in 2023? There's a better way to water your lawn. TLC Incorporated has been installing custom and professional underground lawn sprinkler systems for over 38 years. Our team would be happy to come out to your property at your convenience and provide you with a free, no obligation quote for a new custom underground lawn sprinkler system for your home. No more dragging the hose. No more dry and dusty patches in your yard. Our smart lawn sprinkler systems will efficiently provide water to your lawn all season long with a healthy green grass from your front yard to your back. Click the blue Learn More button below, and the team at TLC can start building the perfect lawn sprinkler system for your home right away. Hey, Bob Carr here with TLC. Hope you guys are enjoying this race. Let's throw it back to the guys in the booth.
Welcome back to tonight's coverage of the Thunderquap iRacing Series Playoffs presented by TLC Incorporated. 2 stages in, Matt Cherry winning both stages. Matt Cherry winning the race off pit road, but with a different strategy. He went with the top-off call. Everybody else taking the 4 tires. Also in the news of Matt Garrett having a bad day, guess what? He had a bad day entering the pit box just now because it took him about 30 seconds to get in the box.
He's actually still in his box right now. We get a good replay of this. I think there was something that happened that went wrong on pit road here. Matt Garrett, I do believe, just spent close to a minute in his box as well. And that's not even counting how long it took him to get in the box. So I think somebody was going through the grass here. I think this might have something to do with it.
Yeah, there was another car in the grass. He had damage beforehand. Then you have you had Burleson, who had a gear shift into the grass. Burleson, I ended up having problems there. No black flags for those entering the pit lane. But then Garrett's pit box entry does not add to what was a very bad stage 2 and a near crash at the end of stage 1. There's the box.
Oh,
bye-bye.
wow.
And this is not done.
I bet I know why, too. I think it's because he took 2 tires, and when he hit the brakes hard, it kind of caused him to slide. One side of the tires were worn a little bit more than the other, and that can lead to something like that happening.
You see, that's how much time was lost just trying to get the car sorted. He's now in 18th after getting repairs done on the right front fender. Reed Foley also apparently had damage and spent 52 seconds in the pit lane, albeit not sure where that damage would have came into play for that respective car. Also in turn, more repairs for Freeman for the 5, who's had a very rough day. Still damaged though, and a car that needed to win after being a contender at many tracks all season. But all that being said, your first on 4 tires is Greg McConey. Oh, by the way, just got the information on Reed Foley. It wasn't damage repair. It was going to the bathroom control.
I'm not sure why anybody would stay out at this point or not stay out, but not take tires.
Matt Cherry evening up on the tire strategies after winning 2 stages already in this one. Green flags out after the run to the TLC restart zone. Back underway. McConey already aligned things up, looking to play spoiler in this one.
Yeah, I don't know. Matt Cherry's going to be much slower than the rest of these guys, but here comes Sean Boundy on the bottom. Greg McConey, though, he's got a good run of speed. Matt Cherry jumps up in front of him. Surprised Cherry had actually pretty good turn 1 and 2, considering he is on old tires, but I think Greg McConey's going to get ready to take advantage of it. On the bottom, challenging for the lead, and he drives right by him like it was nothing. 3 wide in the middle goes Tyler Truex.
What a play from Tyler Truex. He breaks up the teammates. And Tyler Truex now up to a race-high 2nd. Jurassic looking to make some moves too. He looks for 3rd. J-Wow looking to make some wow-type moves on the bottom. He does. As there goes Cherry all the way to the back.
You know, this is not a bad idea, though, for Cherry.
Trouble in the wall. Rainwater's up on the wall. File nearly off the side of some of those cars like Cherry. So Matt Cherry gets shuffled back. Rainwater with the drag to the right side fenders. We stay green.
See for how long we stay green. Of course, here comes Tyler Truex. He's going to try to battle for this lead. Now, keep in mind, I kind of respect Matt Cherry for doing what he did. I think he could have did it a little bit differently. But think about this. We only have 4 sets of tires that these guys can play with at the moment. We have, I do believe the fuel window is about 23, 24 laps. That math doesn't add up. One of these stops is going to have to go without a set of tires. So I think that Cherry decided to go ahead and do that.
Yeah, that's a great point. We're at 83 to go at the stripe. That math doesn't add up to green fish, red fish, blue fish equals yellow fish, or any of those fish. Tyler Truex looking to fish for the lead. Dan coming down to the bottom. Greg McConey stays up at the top. Bounty lines up with his teammate. Jurassic tries to pass to the outside.
I think this is going to be all about saving tires. I mean, if you one of these stops, you're not going to be able to take tires, so you might as well try to save a little bit here, and that's what it's going to be about. This is going to be a resource management game right here tonight. As Tyler Truex, though, he doesn't seem like he's trying to manage them as well as McConey. I think both of these drivers more fighting more than anything.
You see that with the rotation. Tyler Truex trying to get around the bottom side. Oh, contact off the door. Tyler Truex bounces loose, now near contact a 2nd time. Nearly 3 times down the track race, down the front stretch early in the stint.
They're battling like it's the last lap. I mean, it's not, guys. We got a long way to go. What are y'all doing? Robert Walton, of course, challenging as well. Sean Bell,
Oh!
they almost have some contact as well.
Think they did have some contact. Now near contact as Tyler Truex gets tight. I think they forget there's about 81 laps to go, not 1.8 laps to go now.
Yeah, I think Tyler Truex is getting a little bit frustrated with Greg McConey right now. These guys are battling like it is the last few laps of the race. I'm telling you, I don't know. I mean, Tyler, he's got a championship he could possibly win. McConey doesn't. So I can understand why Truex might be a little bit aggravated right now with the 12.
You know who's also making some moves? Greg Vile. He's now underneath Boundy. Jurassic staying on the second line. But remember, Greg Vile's already played spoiler during the playoffs once. He won at the Milwaukee Mile. Could he be a factor now as Rainwater also joins the fray?
No, I think he could be. I mean, Greg Vile has proved that he is a very good race car driver. Of course, has had his fair share of issues in the past, but definitely very fast as he goes underneath Jordan Jurassic. Here comes Tyler Truex again.
For the lead, down on the bottom. Remember last time this led to contact. This time McConey holds his ground up to the edge of the second seam. Tyler Truex down to the first seam. Able to complete the pass, Tyler Truex to the point.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be glad he got that pass completed. This seems like it's just incredibly hard to pass at this racetrack.
Oh, McConey may have bumped him.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to let him get away easy.
Give a tiny bump on that entry. But now Tyler Truex starting to pull away a little bit. And a quick note, when it comes to those in the playoffs, you see Garrett and Cherry at the back still 17th and 18th. You know who's moving? John Freeman is to 10th. Highest he's been since the early stage of this race.
Yeah, good on him. I hope he's going to be able to recover and be in this fight. I mean, of course,
he needs to be.
That damage. He's been getting that damage fixed, and he's always good on the longer runs too. So I think this whole tire strategy deal that these guys are going to have to play might help him. And look at that. Doesn't look that bad on the rear end there.
This is a local race in regards to his sponsor, Mina Peach, by the way. As mentioned, they're based in Windsor, Ontario. About a 1-hour drive from Brooklyn, Michigan, if you take the full drive down the interstate. But in turn, though, because of that move the last time out, when it came to missing a race, he needs to be, well, in this hornet's nest to battle for this race win. Otherwise, he's on the outside looking in as one of the top drivers in terms of consistency all season. All that's while Jurassic is losing the ground. He's lost the top line.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like I think being in this pack is good. You're going to be able to benefit from the draft and all that. But then again, these guys aren't saving tires really, and it's gonna come down to that. And I think that the draft it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a balancing act for sure to see how this plays out. I don't think I've ever really seen a race where these guys are so limited on the tires that they have, and it being such a long race. I mean, we had 150 laps last week at contact with a wall there for Robert Walton.
Oh, that could be problems. Remember, we've seen Matt Garrett have to get repairs to the same right front fender. That may slow down Walton the rest of this run. That is the worst possible thing in terms of your speed tonight. There's the scrape.
Oh, yeah. We're definitely testing that new damage model out. I think we're going to test it out even more. Let's flip some cars.
Oh, my goodness. I think Nate Stewart, it was, one of the Rise Esports drivers, showed how that works actually on social media today. You can lose the full front bumper, you can lose tires, you can lose a lot of parts, to put it politely. Contact Greg Vile, bounced off by Robert Walton.
Definitely a lot of battling still going on right here. You see also Jurassic pinching Vile down, not really wanting to give him a lot of room to get up off the corner. Also like what I'm seeing from Tyler Truex. He's driving away right now. He's also breaking the draft. He's not wanting to give these guys that draft. And tracks like this, that's something you're going to see a lot of.
Right now, that gap about 3/4 tenths. And now as we're about 13 laps in the stint and knowing how the math can play out, a pit stop at about 11, 12 laps time or so, how do you divvy up when you keep a set of tires there if you come down to that? Because We've talked about most of the drivers have utilized the one set. Some may have utilized two. If you utilize two, that's the tough part you talked about. If you have that spare set, it gets a little easier. Matt Cherry, though, showing the downside of choosing to take the tires the first time.
Yeah, I mean, that's interesting. I don't know.
There he goes.
I think he's coming to pit road. He's realizing that, man, this is too difficult to do. I think he's struggling. He's not even at the end of the fuel window right now. This is so this shows how difficult it is, I think, to drive these race cars on such old tires. So this is going to be probably the most challenging race that we have seen all season long. I don't think we've had these kind of stakes as well as the challenge. I mean, to have to go the resource management like this and to drive a car that is your tires are pretty much bald. To be honest with you, Justin, we might see tire failure here tonight.
Again, in turn, 4 total sets in the pits available tonight. Some's utilizing one to save. A couple did utilize both their sets already. 2 stops at minimum expected, but the fuel mileage potentially could see things approach the 3-stopper. Oh, that's wow. Single filing out. Just about nearly halfway through the race in tonight's action. Again, brought to you in part by RL Productions, a Baltimore-based national video marketing agency specialized in video marketing solutions and commercial advertising. RL Productions offers custom brand strategies tailored to your company or organization's unique goals with in-house level attention to detail. RL Productions also offers complete international event solutions for your conference and convention needs with both on-ground and live stream production capabilities. Visit rlproductioncrew.com to turn your expectations into real-life productions. Looking still at some of the battles, Freeman has closed the gap between the first and second groups. It's now riding on behind Joshua Corner. Same can be said after the bathroom break for Reed Foley. By the way, Reed Foley's the fastest car on the racetrack.
Yeah, he's definitely looking really good. I mean, Foley's always good at these racetracks. I mean, he just, anytime you introduce a draft and some of these bigger tracks, you're going to see Foley up in contention as he's going to be, I do believe, going to the inside of Freeman at the moment. So this is definitely interesting. I was kind of doing the math a little bit as well. This is going to take 3 or 4 stops, I do believe, that these guys are going to have to take as Foley gets up almost into the wall. So if these guys have to do 3 or 4 stops to get to the end of this race, and they've already used 2 sets of tires, that's almost, I just don't know how they're going to make that work. I just think that there's going to be someone that's going to blow a tire. I mean, especially the guys that are driving the race cars really hard right now.
Taking a look in the battle for the lead group, Noah Rainwater, the 05, also known as Raindrop, who talked a fair bit in length on his speed throughout the season, has showed good flashes of it. Right now, trying to utilize that along the outside group, battling with Walton and Lee, some of the non-playoff drivers, now losing touch to the main group at the end of the run.
Now, interesting to note as well, we saw over that, I do believe, 15-lap stage run, we saw about 2 seconds of fall off. So I'm wondering what the plateau is going to be like, because we're already getting close to that 2 seconds again here as we're on lap 56. I do believe the green flag stops will probably happen in the next 5 laps.
Indeed. Now, here's an interesting note. We mentioned strategies coming into play. Everyone else is really on full charge for the most part. There is one that I found who's clutching and coasting for some reason. 52, Brandon Schumann, one of the crew members for Steve Stork-Friesen's truck team, is the only person for some reason clutching in this entire field, trying to see if they can find a strategy. They've lost the touch of the draft, but Schumann is clutching every turn entry for some reason.
Yeah, I'm seeing that. This is interesting, and maybe trying to just cut out a stop or something like this. This is going to also help him save tires at the same time, I do believe.
Well, that's a tough argument, too, because sometimes you can actually burn the right front, because when you roll back out of onto the throttle, you're cooking the right front, like right there. You see how much he's pushing up?
That's true. I do. Even if you you listen, you can hear the tire actually screeching as well. So I think that he is maybe cooking the tire a little bit more As John Freeman, of course, has fallen now outside of the top 10. He is in 11th. Diebold just took 10th.
So an interesting play to watch for. We'll see if that comes into play, if he can catch a caution for strategy. Diebold, meanwhile, as mentioned, is in 10th. However, Matt Cherry amongst those who have passed by. Freeman now amongst those trying to get the top side going. Not able to make the move quite yet. 66 to go up at the stripe. Already coming close to the halfway mark. There is a look at that 67 of Cherry. He's trying to pass by most of these drivers up on the top. Let them run the racing groove. This time he runs the bottom underneath Rainwater.
Also seeing a battle between, I do believe, third and, it's actually second and third. Jurassic has been battling pretty hard with Greg McConey, as Tyler Truex has been pretty much wholly in control of this race. And this is what we need. You know, he needs to win this race. But I'm wondering if he's got somebody in his ear telling him, hey, man, there is a weird strategy. We're going to have to pull off something here. I mean, these guys have got to be having some guys calculating or something in their ear telling them, hey, do not drive that car hard. You can't.
And he does have Cherry clipping the apron behind him, closing up. Just about right in the pit window for the first time here today. For green flag stops. What's been an intriguing one for those just tuning in? We have an entry on pit road. John Freeman has opened up the window for the main grouping of drivers coming in. So he comes in from 11th to start the window.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see if he takes tires here. I doubt he will. Of course, I do believe, I think this is his, I don't know if he took tires on the first go, because I know he got a lot of damage fixed earlier. Yeah, he's taking tires here.
He is taking tires, can get a little bit more damage done as well in terms of the repairs.
Here comes Tyler Truex to pit road here. He's going to be pitting from the lead.
He's bringing in Rainwater, so Raindrop rolling in. Whoa. Kyle Newkirk hearing coming in. Rainwater nearly locks it up for a spin. Robert Condon, meanwhile, comes on into the pit lane as well. Now, that car for Robert Condon tonight does have a different paint scheme because, well, earlier in the week, Jimmy Buffett passed away. Of course, Jimmy, the captain of his vessel tonight, in a one-off special approved by Race Control, as well as a special Race Control number on the car per se. There goes the 20 as well, Newkirk.
Yeah, he missed the box a little bit there, had to kick it in reverse. Here comes Greg McConey, Greg Vile, Sean Boundy, all coming to pit road at the same time here. Of course, Jordan Jurassic staying out another lap. I think a lot of these drivers probably trying to stay out one more if they can. I think that's what Jurassic's idea here is.
And to add to the confusion, Brandon Schumann, who was clutching, coasting all that time, pit with all those drivers too.
That's so interesting. I don't know why he would do all that, go through all that if he was just going to pit with the rest of the guys.
Jurassic expected to come on in the next lap. If not now, there's now. Keep in mind, though, the battle for the net lead is heating up side by side. This can help Jurassic because Matt Cherry and Tyler Truex are side by side. You also have Diebold alongside Freeman. Multiple battles amongst the net positions. There's Truex for the move on Cherry.
This is interesting. I think, and I do believe Tyler Truex did take tires. He's on, I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, possibly his second set. I think he's used his second set now.
Here's the look at the sets in. Here's the help of the stint length. In terms of those tires, you see the cross pattern of pit stops and no pit stops you see on the boxes. Diebold yet to pit, Corner yet to pit, Allen Jr. yet to pit. Those who have pit, you'll see in the alternating pattern. Diebold has rolled into the pit lane this upcoming time around. Quarterman Allen Jr. the same. Keep in mind, Cherry is on a 10-lap difference on tire strat. That is a long-term play, though, if you're the 67, you think.
No, yeah, I definitely think so. I think he did some calculating. I think he came in here fairly prepared. I mean, everything that Cherry has done has been a little different than everybody else. So I think that he really has it worked out mathematically. So I like his call. I think he's confident in what he's doing. He's going to stick with his strategy. Now, could a caution come out? and uproot that strategy, definitely a possibility as well. As here comes Sean Bounty, big run to the inside of Cherry. You can just see how much slower Cherry is right here.
Only one driver this pit cycle getting a speeding penalty, by the way. Daniel Half is rolling through the pit lane to serve it. But all that's while Truex leads by a whopping 2 seconds. One lap undercut compared to those who battled for that position. Things looking solid when it comes to the 69. He needed to win, and with just past halfway down, you predicted it. He's starting off with following on with the prediction now that stage 3 is rolling.
Yeah, I mean, last week at Iowa, I mean, he just has had a lot of bad races here recently, and I think that this is one, he needs this kind of a race here. I mean, it just seems like the last couple tracks he struggled at. He put himself in somewhat of a must-win scenario last week at Iowa, and he's doing it right now. I mean, I think that he's good at this track. Of course, his brother, or I'm sorry, Ryan Truex is not out here. I think his cousin's not out here to challenge him, so... But he's still doing good. I mean, considering Sean Bounty, I mean, he is the regular season Xfinity champion, but I don't think Bounty's really playing to win this race. I think he realizes that, hey, I'm already locked in.
Indeed, and so far he's been racing strongly all throughout this night. Take a look at Bounty, meanwhile, again, unofficially locked in on points. They did inform him during the stage 2 break, by the way, that he is in the Lightning 4.
I bet he's got himself, he's got an umbrella in his drink right now. He's just relaxing. He knows he's already made it.
So already inside at 60 laps to go.
Yeah, definitely excited to see how this is all going to play out. I mean, I've never really seen a race like this that, like I said, just requires so little, or that you have to utilize so little resources. I mean, just the fuel, of course, being another resource. Of course, a 60% tank, I do believe these guys are using tonight.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, I do believe that's about a 35 or so lap fuel window. But these guys tonight only have about 24. I think that's pretty much what we established in that last run. And just having so few tires. I mean, heck, I just don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they're limiting the amount of water these guys can drink. I mean, goodness gracious.
Technical issues. Greg File from the top 5 has now vanished from the racing surface. So that means we have our first driver potentially out of the race, actually, the whole night. A very bad break when it comes to that car of the 26 of Vile. That moves Jurassic to 4th and Foley to 5th, by the way. Can play a little bit of a factor now on those points.
Yeah, he had been running really good. I mean, the 26, had worked his way up into the top 10. So that's definitely very unfortunate. Just see the difference in speed, though, from Matt Cherry compared to everybody else here. Over a second, I was kind of looking at him. But Jordan Jurassic closing in on Greg McConey, possibly.
Slowly but surely doing so. He actually picked up 4/10 or so on both the cars in front last time by. In fact, Jurassic is quicker than everybody else on the racetrack. I'm not sure if that's pure skill or that's just being able to figure out the tire groove to be able to conserve with the draft.
I think what it is he waited a lap to pit other than the other drivers. They all went a lap ahead of him, and he waited a lap, and I think that has something to do with it. I know one lap might not seem like a lot, but at a track like Michigan, this is a 2-mile track, a big racetrack. One lap does mean something.
See that battle box up at the top screen, and the top speeds reached by drivers as high as 200 miles an hour in the midst of this run down the front straightaway.
That's fast. These guys are definitely hitting some high speeds. I mean, this is one of the fastest racetracks in NASCAR, so it doesn't really surprise me as we see TJ Lee making the pass there on Matt Cherry. Of course, he's quickly just dropping through the field as well. Here comes Robert Walton.
See where the overall delta plays out for Cherry, especially when it comes to the points calculations as the race goes on here tonight. Now, as mentioned, we're in the midst of a new build day. In fact, it's build week on the iRacing service. There wasn't too many changes to talk about outside the new damage model for the Xfinity Series car, but Some quality of spotting was improved upon. New spotter calls for incidents across the field, specific damage calls. You have specific reads to be able to figure out the strength of the field, how many laps to go or remaining in a session to be able to make sure people know it ends. The new damage report keybind is something people can keep an eye on to know how much damage repair you have while on the track, not just in the pit box. New factors coming in. All while Jurassic tries to pass by both of these drivers. Meaning, let's say someone goes off onto the apron right now, spins off. If you have incident points gathered 2x or more, race control will tell you, or rather your spotter will tell you, there is a car spinning down the backstretch or nearby you. Look out.
That's awesome. I mean, that is really cool. I know that they've been working on stuff like that previously as well. You know, saying that, you know, I know when I did some racing yesterday and it was telling me, oh, the leader ran this lap or something like that. And just really specific stuff that you want to know as a competitor, that a lot of times if you had someone in your ear, they would be telling you that. But a lot of times, you know, I mean, you know, I don't have any friends. So, you know, it's good to have that robotic friend telling me exactly what's going on the track.
It's very helpful. Let's put it that way. Oh, that's why they updated the spotter packs, obviously, when it comes to that mark. But for the most part, outside of that, there's also one other change. Have you tried the new audio feature of sounding like you're wearing a full head helmet?
I have not.
It's actually pretty relaxing. So what they've done as a slide there from McConey, able to hold on to it, no major contact, no major slides outside of that little moment. Able to hold on. I was about to say, they now have the ability to add the effect of ear protection in helmets, Brian. So, say you want to sound like you're racing with earplugs or earmuffs without actually putting on earplugs or earmuffs, or an open face helmet or a full helmet. You can do that easily. It actually is pretty relaxing and helps you calm down in these moments, like this one, because it sounds like a waterfall.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if that's what are helmets supposed to sound like waterfalls?
I don't believe so. I really don't think so. It's still really interesting, though. Tell you what, Tyler Truex is starting to get caught fairly quickly here.
He has been talking a little bit on the radio about that. He did reach Daniel Half for a moment with traffic. But for the most part, things are settled.
I wonder why he's slowing down so much. I mean, it seems maybe he's waiting. I mean, because he's by himself possibly, and these guys are all drafting together. I know Greg McConey, though, is showing a lot of pace right now.
Well, draft is a major impact when it comes to this, even with the package here down the straights. As now it's time for different strategies. Matt Garrett has decided to fall cherry strat. This could get interesting now with that extra factor of sets of tires.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see what Cherry does if he takes tires. I mean, because he's been on a little bit of an alternate strategy here.
It looks like he is taking the set, yeah. So he is taking the 4 tires. Garrett already up on the jack, so they lose laps for now. John Freeman has also elected a pit. I think there's drivers thinking this might come down to a fuel mileage stop, or rather a different strat for the final stop because of the distance of that final stop window.
I'm going to go ahead and throw out the whole book. I really just do not know what we're going to see here, what strategy is going to play out. I mean, like I said, this is kind of new to me. A very unique race to where these guys are so limited. And the amount of tires they have, as we see, I do believe the sun is actually starting to come out on the racetrack.
Where did that come from?
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting the sun to come back out. It's been all cloudy. I guess there's a little hole in the clouds. Track temp did drop 5 degrees in the midst of cloudiness. And we're almost getting to the point where in sim, we're getting your lights needing to be put on the racetrack. It's almost 6 o'clock in sim. Surprised it's this bright, actually.
Yeah, and it's not the whole racetrack that's bright like this. This is kind of only, I do believe, on the backstretch, essentially. Other parts of the racetrack are fairly overcast. That is very interesting, to say the least. I think that...
Hold on, we have... Oh, how about this for a roll of the dice? Tyler Truex is in the pits. Tyler Truex in the 69 from the lead, pitting about 6 laps early.
I think maybe he realized something. Maybe he just realizes that, hey, I think he realizes I could pit here and only have to pit one more time. I think that might be what his thoughts are here.
Now Jurassic trying to make a move on Bounty in the midst of all this. See that in the battle for third. How does this factor into the stops, knowing we're inside the line on a one more stop from this mark? Not too much for these drivers yet. For reference, Tyler Truex is still on the lead lap for the most part. With how the drivers are playing out, if they pit from the lead group, Brian, they still maintain lead lap status. If not, have the chance to get the lap back by the next corner set. If you're behind this lead group, you risk falling a lap down for at least a little while before you can catch the leaders. Speaking of catching, Reed Foley inside the pink machine to the lead.
Yeah, Reed Foley has been lightning quick here. Unfortunately, he's not going to move on to the Lightning 4, but he's definitely been looking really good. Of course, Reed Foley, a country music star from what I hear. Here comes Sean Bounty to pit road. I've actually listened to one of Reed Foley's songs. Very talented artist.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit last time. He advertised his new album, At Least It Ain't Raining, a few weeks ago at Pocono, in fact. He's actually performing a bunch of concerts over the weekend. How about a string of 4 in about 4 days across New Smyrna?
Yeah, really nice guy as well. Got a good voice and nice guy. A lot of times you know meet artists like that. I don't know. Maybe I would always think that they have a big ego, but he just doesn't seem like that kind of guy.
Doesn't seem like that either. Greg McConey is into the pit lane, by the way. I was about to say, you also need to be friendly if you are a deputy mayor like he is, which isn't easy to do when you're also a country music star and performing across the state when, you know, you're also having to make sure your town is functioning.
It's definitely very important to make sure your town is functioning, that's for sure. You kind of touched on a little bit of a point earlier about guys not going a lap down when they pit. Well, Sean Bounty is narrowly avoiding going a lap down here. That's just a kind of a fact about Michigan. You know, you're able to, if you're up towards the front when you pit, you're able to stay on the lead lap. Not a lot of other tracks you can really say that. I know Pocono, Indianapolis, those are the kind of tracks, Talladega, Daytona, maybe not even those tracks considering how fast you're going. But I mean, it's just an interesting thing about Michigan. So thought that was kind of interesting. But I think Tyler Truex, though, is fairly out front compared to Sean Bounty. I think Tyler Truex is in really good shape right now. Of course, he did take tires on that last stop, and I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, he might be out of tires, or maybe he has one left. I'm not sure.
It's going to be very tight, to emphasize this again. Let's put it this way. If there is a caution late in this race, most of the field is going to be out of tire sets. Change for second, or rather change for who's in front of second. McConey looking to get his lap back. He fell about 7 seconds back at Tyler Truex with this pit cycle and the time of the pit stop. You know who's also quietly clawing back into this conversation with these drivers? Guess who's here? It's Roger Diebold, car 38. The Dirty 8 is here.
Yeah, I mean, he of course, coming into this race was just above the cut line, I do believe, by 4 points. I do believe lost it to Matt Cherry, with Matt Cherry getting those stage wins. So Diebold's, he's in a precarious situation. He's up to third right now, though. If he finishes in third, I think, depending on how far he finishes above the next guy in the playoffs, he could possibly maybe point his way in or win the race outright. We'll have to wait and see as we see some guys coming to pit road. Burleson, I think Anthony Burleson and Robert Condon both coming to pit road. And I do believe we see Rainwater coming down as well.
He was running inside the top 5 for part of that run. Burleson covering from the slide under caution. And as mentioned, Robert Condon, the official number is 25 on the roof, but the mention of the different number is if you check the door, because if you look closely next to that Radio Margaritaville logo, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, like his very iconic song. and also has the old Landshark logo, which at one point sponsored where the Miami Dolphins play.
Look at that.
Are you a Jimmy Buffett person?
Not particularly, but I mean, I know he definitely was a very influential artist. Not particularly though, but definitely rest in peace to him. I know a lot of people that are. I definitely know a lot of people that are huge fans, and that their hearts were broken when he passed.
Reed Foley, by the way, just pit. Jordan Jurassic and Roger Diebold battling for the lead. They have Matt Cherry, however, playing as a pick. Jurassic forced to the bottom. Here comes Diebold for the lead. And Jurassic's coming.
Roger's had a really fast Ford. That 38 has been looking really good. I don't know if the Fords are just somewhat better, but he has looked somewhat better than a lot of the other drivers here.
Oh, this could get interesting. Roger Diebold is also coming. This is a battle of who's the bravest on the brakes. Roger Diebold sending the stamp. Speeds and spins and crashes. Roger Diebold crashes into the pit lane.
That's a heartbreaker right there. Goodness. He's going to lose a ton of time. I don't think he hit that hard on the front nose, but it's enough that we're going to see what that looks like with this damage model. This is a place you don't want to hit the front nose.
At the very minimum, that's a pass-through penalty for Roger Diebold by a mile. At least 10 miles an hour, in fact. The scrapes, look at the edge of the nose right by the tape.
Oh, yeah, right there where the Mustang emblem is, and that's unfortunate. I mean, it was already costly enough that he spun around, but now he's going to have to serve, a penalty as well in pit road. Man, that pretty much, I think, championship hopes have pretty much been dashed unless a caution comes out.
And because it wasn't cleared by race control in time, because the speeding penalty, he has a 40-second hold on top now. And here comes the pit stop for Allen Jr. meanwhile. Very quietly, he's been in this race very calmly. He goes 3 miles per hour below the speed limit as his teammate Tyler Truex retakes the lead. Coming up to the final window of pit stops right after this break. You're watching the Thundercloud iRacing Series playoffs and the final race of the Dark 8, presented by TLC Incorporated.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Grid Vision. More coverage of the Thunderclap iRacing Series playoffs presented by TLC Incorporated. TLC Incorporated services include custom lawn sprinkler systems, custom landscape and outdoor lighting systems, drainage solutions for flood and wet backyards, and custom garage floors and makeovers. Call 888-PIC-TLC for more information. Right now, within the final 30 laps this time by, Tyler Truex leads over Boundy, McConey, and Foley. The gap has reduced, though, in the midst of the side-by-side from 7 seconds to just 1.6. That coming off a difference as high as about 8 laps on tires, fully on the freshest tires catching up.
Yeah, this is interesting. Of course, we have a lot of guys on very, very vastly different strategies here. Tyler Truex, though, I think he's on the best strategy right now. I feel like he knew what he was doing when he pitted when he did. He's pretty much splitting it on tires. Of course, I do believe in about 7 or so laps, we're probably going to have to go down pit road. But we're getting close to, I think, the conclusion of this race to see who's going to be able to, kind of out-strategy the rest of the guys.
It's going to be tight for some drivers, to say the very least. Right now, the gap reducing by about a tenth a lap for Truex compared to Boundy. Also amongst those on that strategy who has gained a lot of track position, at least in terms of the order. We talked about Freeman and a lot of those struggles all race. He's up to a race high 6th in the midst of this stint with about 4 or 5 laps until that pit stop. Freeman in an interesting spot right now where he needs a caution to battle for this win.
Yeah, for sure. He started this race really on a bad foot. I mean, just missing the qualifying. Of course, luckily for him, he was able to get, I do believe, that 8th place position in the qualifying, so he made it last minute and came into this race already in a must-win situation. I mean, he missed last week's race at Iowa. He had a spin in the first stage. I mean, had a bad hand, but he's been making the best of it. I gotta say that I'm impressed. He's up in 6th, and if a caution goes his way, he's in this race. He's in it. But of course, this next stop, this is going to be interesting. These guys pitting down pit road, Justin, when they use this last set of tires, I'm not sure what's going to... If we see a caution and someone has a set of tires left, they win.
And that's if they're on the lead lap, obviously. Joshua Corner is the last in the lead lap, 34 seconds back currently. Half, Schumann, Newkirk, and Diebold have all lost laps. Diebold keeping wise because of a speeding penalty and a 40-second stop and hold after crashing into the pit lane. The lead's down to under a second. Foley's now within drafting distance. However, expecting pit stops in the next 2 to 3 laps to start to close out this race for those looking to battle for the win and lock themselves into the Lightning 4 at Homestead.
Yeah, and Jurassic's looking really quick as well. I know he's catching up quickly to Sean Boundy. Last time by, he ran about a half a second faster. Foley as well is on a little bit fresher tires. He's running about a half a second faster as well as Tyler Truex.
And keep in mind, when it comes to that race at Homestead, I think it's worth mentioning that's your longest race of the year in terms of mileage. 200 laps, good, near 300 plus miles when you calculate about 1.5 miles the distance. You can't afford mistakes at that track either, with that coming up to play if you are amongst those who can win in, which may be the case for some here. Bounty, of course, pointing in.
I would not be surprised if that's that long of a race. I mean, that is a long one. 200 laps at a mile and a half. That's a big one right there. And the thing about it is that those guys, I'm sure they're not going to have as many tires. Or they're probably going to have limited amount of tires at that race as well. So this is kind of a primer to what they can expect there.
Reed Foley showing what he wants Tyler Truex to not expect. A massive run to the point he almost bubbles. Pit windows open. Matt Garrett just came in the 3 car. All while Reed Foley's in, does Truex, his teammate, come in on the other end? Yes, he does. Tyler Truex is coming.
Now, really what's interesting is if someone other than a playoff driver wins, what is that? That changes a lot of things here. It's going to be about points. Who points their way in? That's going to maybe make the chances for Matt Cherry a little bit better.
Oh, and trouble for Freeman on the pit stop. The 5 on his recovery has had a slide and a side spin. No caution. We stay green. Freeman's chances take another slide and hit.
That is just unfortunate. Watching back to see exactly what happened. And wow.
Wheel hop.
Yeah, just I guess hit the brakes at just the wrong time, and it just caused the, you know, he overextended the limit of the tires.
And to add to this, he just took 2 tires after the slide to maintain time.
Oh, I don't know if that's going to work out very well.
Bounty and McConey, by the way, in this time by. 2 teammates have stayed together all run long, have worked together all run long. Noah Rainwater also in. Keep in mind, Foley can still go another 9 laps at most if he wants to. That puts him in a spot where it's under 15 to go.
He'd be, if a caution were to come out, he'd probably be one of the best positioned cars. If he's got a set of tires left, he'd be in really good position. Everybody else, they just took their last set, pretty much. I mean, Tyler Truex, he just took his last set. He's probably not going to come to pit road again, even if a caution comes out.
Into the lane, TJ Lee. Quietly's been doing well with the 46. Todd Lee on the box. Also running in, Robert Walton. They held on to top 10 positions much of this run.
Yeah, I got to say, I've been very impressed with TJ Lee and Robert Walton. I mean, they're 2 drivers that usually don't run up in the top 10 very much, but this strategy race seems to be playing well into their hands. They seem to be very good at conserving and taking care of their equipment.
Gordner just came in as well. Already Bounty unlapping himself. With how things have played out so far, just a couple drivers are on the lead lap. Foley, Jurassic, Allen Jr., Lee, Walton, Tyler Truex, and Bounty. Actually, check that, take Lee out of the equation. But that's it. With how things have cycled, expect that the Foley cycle in the next 6-7 laps to determine who comes away with this one. Right now, net lead for Truex, but it's only by about 1.5 seconds. Here's the pass for the lead back, or lead lap back for McConey.
Yeah, I think you could see Tyler Truex. He got really close to almost hitting the wall when he came off of, you know, for his first kind of heat-up laps. I think really he's trying to make sure that Sean Bounty does not get a sniff of the draft. That is pretty much what he's trying to do right now. I don't know how successful he's going to be. He's been hovering the gap between 4th and 5th right now. Of course, the net lead has been about 1.4 seconds, you've been saying, but it looks like, oh, it's going in the way of Sean Bounty, though. He just closed in by about a 10th.
Slowly getting the fishing rod out is the 35. See him with that throw back to the early 1990s to late 1990s from those old 36 machines. They might get some luck.
Car. Yep.
Roger Diebold right in front of Tyler Truex. Dirty air was a factor in the last run, could be a factor here.
100%. Tyler Truex able to get by Diebold. Does Bounty struggle to get by him as well? Now, one thing about it is Bounty's going to be aided in some parts by the draft. Now, does Diebold kind of let him go? A lot of times you are a lot more willing to let the second place driver go than the leader. So, I think Diebold realizes that he knows that Tyler is pretty much going to be the net leader here.
Reed Foley just shot it on the radio. To Noah Rainwater, take this lap. Maybe pit stop this lap. There it is on the outside, near contact on the push-up. Foley still leading by 1.8 seconds. Jurassic is coming in this time.
Yeah, Jurassic definitely went really long.
Oh, there it is. Reed Foley sends it in deep on the pit entry. A lot of near slides, but holding on to it comfortably to the pit speed. Jurassic the same. Brandon Schumann also joining them.
Yeah, really awesome job there for Foley. I mean, he looked really aggressive coming to pit road there, but really looked smooth, actually. I mean, looked aggressive, but so that had to be a really good time for him to – he probably gained a little bit of time getting on pit road. And I think that's important for him because he does not want – he wants to come out and have a chance to use those new tires against a guy like Truex.
Well, as we've emphasized before and seen before between pit entry and exit, that's the difference of up to 3 to 5 seconds on the racetrack if you do it right. Foley, 39 seconds in the lane. That's actually the quickest lane time as well this race.
You could just see it, just even looking at the way he was doing that. I mean, he was so aggressive, and yeah, it's risky. And, you know, he can take that risk, though, Justin. I mean, he's not a playoff driver. He's trying to get a win here.
Meanwhile, getting a little bit of time to get some lead laps in, Allen Jr., one of the E-Tower Truex drivers. And when it comes to Tommy Allen Jr., very quiet for his run tonight. He's also a musician, by the way, but he's also a bulkheader as his main job. He was also top 3 in the least incident points his first 2 seasons in Thunderclap competition. This season, extremely quiet in terms of when he's made starts this campaign.
I hate to go back to Reed Foley again, but I think he has a chance to win this race. He's about 8.5 back from, or actually no, he's about, I'd say, 7 or so back from Tyler Truex right now. If he is about a half a second to a second faster a lap, he's got enough time. He has enough time.
It's going to be close. So, wow, he tries to pass by Rainwater. Right now, Reed Foley amongst those on the lead lap. Keep in mind, the battle for the lead is tight, or what's going to become the battle for the lead overall and net. Bounty's within a second. Tyler Truex is almost within a second, Allen Jr. And now he's caught up just about to his teammates. So now them and Greg McConey have all converged on the 28.
Yeah, 100%. This is going to be a battle. I mean, of course, Allen Jr. much slower. He's about 3 or 4 tenths slower than Tyler Truex. Of course, Truex using that draft, but faster than both of them is Sean Bounty, as well as McConey. I mean, McConey is also in this fight. I mean, last time by, he was 2 tenths faster than Sean Bounty. This is a multifaceted race here to see who's going to win this thing.
Tyler Truex needs to win. Sean Bounty already has points to rely on. Greg McConey, the chance to play spoiler. Those are your 3 to watch in the lead group. Foley, though, is even quicker than all of them. You mentioned Reed Foley about 7 seconds back. He's down to under 5. It's been about a minute.
Yeah, he's flying. I mean, and that's to be expected. I mean, he's been fast all race long. He's got extra on the front of that thing, and you know, he is extra. I'd say that's an accurate statement on that hood.
Jurassic's on the same strategy, too. That's the major part. So he can try and get 2 wins in the Dark 8 to also play spoiler a bit. But now it's on for the lead. 12 laps to go with the stripe. Truex, Bounty, McConey, your lead pack. Foley and Jurassic on fresher tires are closing in by about a full second a lap. Who advances to the Lightning 4? It all comes down to how these 24 miles play out. 12 to go with the stripe.
And you could tell Tyler, I bet Tyler is definitely sweating right now. His heart rate has got to be up through the roof. He's probably overdriving a little bit, but I don't know. I mean, he's driven a real race car. He's probably got nerves still. I might be wrong.
Here's a look on board with Tyler Truex. Runs in real world action still with the modifieds. Still holding on to the clean air for the time being. All that's well.
He is 2.3 back. He is really closing in.
And the cousin to Ryan Truex trying to join him in the postseason. Here's a look at Foley. Allen Jr. has just come into the pit lane. He's ran out of gas. Coming at 10 laps to go this time by. Foley now within 2 seconds.
I don't think anything is going to stop Foley from winning this race. He's got plenty of time. I mean, he's running a second faster than the guys ahead of him. I mean, the only thing that can happen here is if these guys just block him and try to wreck him. I mean, he is just looking so much faster than these guys. I think Foley has got the winning strategy.
10 to go. Foley down to a second and a half. working from the top on the angle on the diamond. He passes by the playoff spoiler chance driver Greg McConey. Now to third, under 1.25 seconds, under 1.2. Can Tyler Truex put on the blocks once he gets there? That's the most difficult part.
That's what you're going to have to do. I mean, Tyler Truex has got to ask himself, dig down deep, am I willing to block and wreck someone? Because, I mean, that's what it's going to take. And a caution is the only thing that's going to help. But actually, a caution really wouldn't help very much because these guys all are out of tires. It wouldn't help anybody but Foley, I think, unless someone else in this field has a set left, which I highly doubt.
If anything, it might help Allen Jr.
Yeah, it might actually help him out. He just hit it. You're right.
He'd be the lucky dog, but he'd be on the freshest tires in the field. To confirm, Tyler Truex unofficially needs to win this race. 8 laps to go. He needs to put on the biggest offensive moves of his race season to have a shot. Here comes the first move. Foley lines up the draft. Tyler Truex up to the top. Foley to the bottom. And nothing he can do as Reed Foley drives by. Tyler Truex's chances slip away. Foley to the lead as a spoiler.
Yeah, there's just nothing that he could have done. I mean, he's just Foley has got much newer tires. I mean, it's like a next gen versus a truck. I mean, he's in the next gen. He's much faster.
He needs something big to happen for him to move on, to say the least.
Yeah, 100%. He needs Foley to wreck, or he needs something bad to happen to cause a caution. Even so, I don't think that would still help him.
And the significance of that move for the JCR car, by the way, with things stand, Matt Cherry of Next Level Motorsports, who's up to 6th and has equalized the strategy to all the leaders now, is the first one unofficially in on points outside of Bounty.
We thought he was crazy. We thought he was crazy earlier whenever he made that bold strategy. He might, like you said, point his way in, and I think it's almost it's everything but fact right now that Matt Cherry's probably going to go to the next round, and what a job to him. Of course, he won stage 1, he won stage 2. Still, though, 6 laps to go. Got to run all the laps.
Have to keep it clean. Allen Jr. just pressed the pitting in button again, believe, by accident. But that's wow. Jurassic still can make a pass on some cars here. He's on Foley strat. Can he be quicker than Foley for the win, though, for back-to-back weeks?
Now, something could still go wrong here. I mean, he's having to deal with a lot more lap traffic. Foley is right beside Freeman right now.
And that's Freeman looking for the lap back. Oh, and Freeman gets tight underneath Foley. He nearly pushes up the track. Foley avoids any contact as Tyler Truex nearly runs into him.
Keep in mind, Freeman's on 2 tires, so this is why he's having a lot of struggles right now. He had to make that 2-tire call in order to kind of make up the time he lost on pit road, but really I think it costs him more to take 2 tires.
4 to go. 8 miles to go for Michigan. Foley's had speed all throughout the campaign in 15 starts, a one-time winner this season, 5 top 5s entering the night, but has very much kept the incidents to a minimum. When he's made most of his starts outside of the past couple races, he's picked up about 8 incident points apiece. But when he has a shot, he pushes hard, especially with that race at Charlotte he won earlier this year.
Yeah, now keep in mind as well, I think Reed Foley did not make the playoffs only because he didn't run as many races as he needed to. It wasn't from lack of talent. It was because I think his schedule, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
He gave it up voluntarily. So if he was able to run all the races, Justin, I mean, I'm sure you agree with me, he'd probably be in Lightning 4.
Or at least in the conversation in the last round. But with 2.5 laps to go, just 1.3 seconds, the gap between him and Truex. Jurassic about half a second back to Tyler Truex. get ready to get the bunny ears at the flag stand. And it's been clean for the most part all race. Even when they nearly crashed, everyone kept it clean.
Yeah,
Robert Condon's out of gas, by the way.
I mean, the craziest it has gotten was in stage one, towards the end of stage one, when we saw 4 wide. And other than that, this has been a completely green race. I mean, I've got to say I'm thoroughly impressed with the fine job these guys have done.
Lap and a half to go. It's been green outside of the stage cautions all night long. Reed Foley looking to sing all the way to the checkered. 1 lap to go, presented by RL Productions at the stripe. 2 miles to go from Michigan.
What a performance as we see Jordan Jurassic lining up to pass on Tyler Truex here. Not able to get it done. I think his tires have kind of plateaued as he's caught Tyler. But Reed Foley, country music star, is going to be writing a song about this win. If he can make it through 3 and 4, here comes Jurassic on the inside.
Trying to play defensive, but again, Truex too far back on points either way. Checker flag coming out of turn 4. Reed Foley for the 2nd time this season wins in thunderclap. This time he doesn't play spoiler in the lightning position fights. He gets it done here at Michigan.
Yeah, what a fantastic performance there for him. Good job to Jordan Jurassic. Heartbreaking finish for Tyler Truex, but man, we gotta pay our respects to that 69. He did a fantastic job.
Unofficially though, the last spot in the Lightning 4 with the 6 points run tonight goes to the driver who won the first 2 stages, Matt Cherry. He gets it done here tonight to move on to battle for a championship.
You love to see it. I mean, very interesting strategy. I mean, he had a lot of courage with what he did, not taking tires at the end of stage 2. Like, that's not the place to do that, but he did it, and he made it work. Finishes 6th, as we see, of course, Reed Foley coming up here to celebrate on the front stretch at Michigan.
Again, his 2nd win of the season, and every round in this year's postseason had at least one non-playoff driver come away with the win. Believe that was the welcome party attempt from John Freeman.
I was wondering what that was. It was a blur, just flew by.
But Foley gets to burn it down regardless. Let's take a look at the unofficial race results as Reed Foley gets it done tonight over Jordan Jurassic. Tyler Truex in the best position to win and get in, but couldn't do it with the tire difference in the end. Sean Bounty points his way into the Lightning 4 unofficially. And Greg McConey and Matt Cherry the top 6. Cherry unofficially pointing his way into. Lee, Walton, Garrett, and Allen Jr. your top 10.
Burleson 11th, Half 12th, Coiner 13th, Rainwater 14th, Schumann 15th, Freeman 16th. Unfortunately, going to be going home, not into the Lightning 4. Newkirk 17th, Condon 18th, Diebold, heartbreaking race for him as well. Not going to move on. 19th, and Vile rounds out the top 20. And of course, we only had 20 competitors here, so that is the field.
By the way, the reasoning to Freeman had tried to be the welcome party there is, interestingly enough, the 6-car Jordan Jurassic stopped in the front stretch during the burnout for Foley. Guess what? Car 5 went upside down. Like you wished, we flipped a car. Let's take a commercial break. When we come back, post-race coverage. Our top 2 standing by. Speak with them in just a moment. You're on Grid Vision. Welcome back to Grid Vision for more coverage of the Thunderclap iRacing Series playoffs presented by TLC Incorporated. It's time to get to post-race coverage after an eventful finish here to the Dark 8. 4 drivers unofficially inside the Lightning 4. Let's talk first things first to one driver who came up just short of doing so tonight. Tyler Truex, top 3 run tonight. You needed to win to get in. It's 3rd place in the end. What are your thoughts going through your mind right now?
Just 2 spots too short.
What did you need to go your way for it to go your way, so to speak?
Just the Reed and Jordan not being on that different strategy. I don't know. I didn't get a chance to ask 10 guys where they changed it up there, but yeah, they just were on that little bit of a different strategy, and it worked out perfect for them. The pair of them stuck to it that whole last. I think we went 70 laps there toward the end. So yeah, like I said, they stuck to their strategy and it played off in the end. We did everything right on our end on the strategy that we were all playing. So just how it works sometimes. That's why they call it racing.
What are the 80 laps, in fact, going green in that final stage? But 7-lap difference coming into play, that also the factor. But in your opinion, what do you wish you could have done differently this round? We've seen what happened in Iowa, for example. What would you have done differently this round?
You know, we had a solid first race racing with Ryan there. If we would have been able to get him, that Pocono was fun. Last week I went and seen family and stuff and got to the race a little late, so I didn't get to practice or nothing. So I kind of just tried to stay out of trouble and do the strategy deal, and it never worked out. And yeah, I just knew we had to come in here and win, so part of it.
Well, thank you very much for the time, Tyler. Congrats on the top 3 at least.
I appreciate it. Thank you for everything you guys are doing, and like I said, good luck to all them guys. Hopefully Ryan can pull it off.
Tyler Truex coming away 3rd tonight. 2nd spot going to someone who locked themselves in last week and made a promotional video about it. Top 2 again for Jordan Jurassic. He's with Brian.
Jordan, definitely great job tonight, man. I mean, you had a really good strategy. You and Reed Foley. I mean, did you guys kind of come up with that beforehand, or no? Did you have to do some calculations? What went into that strategy today?
Yeah, me and him were just kind of going on the fly. The first couple runs, we just tried to run it dry. I was kind of surprised a couple drivers pitted as early as they did after the first and second run, because I knew the tires were going to be a big fall off to there towards the end. And yeah, we burnt our stuff up a little too much on the early run. That's why we were kind of getting tight. Foley, he was able to get through the traffic better than I could, and yeah, it was a good race.
Yeah, it definitely was a very good race for you. I mean, how does this race, you think, compare to next week at Homestead? I know that's going to be a long race. 200 laps. You locked yourself in, last week at Iowa with a dominant performance. Of course, this race tonight, it definitely was like almost like a resource management type of race. I mean, I think next week's going to be some of the same, and it's also going to have more of an endurance property as well. Do you think any of the strengths you showed tonight are going to show up there?
Yeah, I hope so. We've been saving tire a little bit better lately towards the playoffs, and I feel like it's been one of our strengths. Not tonight, came up 1 spot short, but hopefully we're better than the other three drivers going into that race. And I've been practicing a little bit. I don't really know. I'm still trying to figure out what line to take, or if I should save tire or just run the high lane. But we'll figure it out as we practice a little bit more.
All right, well, definitely we look forward to seeing what you can do. If you can get your 10th pole maybe next week, that'd be something to see as well. Who can we give a shout out to, Jordan?
Just got to give a shout out to the guys back at the shop, man. We just keep bringing fast engines to the race, and yeah, like you said, try to get that 10th pole. I believe this was the second, at least third, 3 in a row. Yeah, I hope we get started on pole. That'll make our race a lot much easier trying to get that championship.
100%. Well, we definitely wish you the best of luck, Jordan. We'll see you next time.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it. Y'all have a good one.
Alrighty, that was Jordan Jurassic. Like he said, trying to get his 10th pole next week. He got 9 so far. We'll see what he can do. Of course, back to you, Justin, standing by, I do believe, with Reed Foley.
Hey, indeed, your second win of the season, Reed. You do it on strategy in part, but you also play spoiler in the Dark 8. First, what's your thoughts on how tonight played out for you? 24 laps led on the way to win.
I'll tell you, I love this track. I enjoy this car the most too, so it was just a good setup for me to come out here. And when I worked this race with having those early stages, I knew that we just had to kind of play it backwards. I knew some people were going to pit early and try to short pit it so they could go faster and break the draft. But then after the first round, I noticed when people came out, even I was on older tires, they were right in front of me. I was able to use that draft to keep me up to pace a little bit better. And you add all that up over that long 80 lap run we had or whatever, and you probably get the margin of victory.
Indeed, and with how this has played out throughout this race tonight, or played out, I should rather say, in terms of this too. Talk about the trickiness when it comes to this respective track in terms of how the draft played out for you in terms of getting yourself to the field. 13 spots up, by the way, is how things played out in the end.
Yeah, at that stage, Breck, I had to go to the bathroom. I knew there was a chance the race was going to go green the whole way, and so I decided that was actually even worse. I started 14th. Somebody needs to figure out how to let the air out of Jurassic's tires, because this guy, fastest qualifier I've ever seen. But we started that 88 lap run from 19th, and to work our way through to come back to win it, I was kind of surprised we were able to do that.
Well, in turn, what's your approach now for Homestead? Because you're not in the postseason, but you also pick up the win. What's that approach now going to be with the final race of the season next time out in Florida? Well, also, mind you, in the next few days, being busy with 4 straight concerts in 4 days in Florida.
Well, I'm in Florida, yeah, but then I'm going to Nashville. That's why I bowed out of the championship. You know, I qualified, but I gave my spot up because I knew I would not be in town this week. I wouldn't be able to race. So I'll be rooting for my JCR teammates. I'll be rooting for Freeman and Jurassic to run well, and I'll be watching from Nashville, Tennessee. But feels good to get another win, man. It's always great to race against these guys. I have a lot of respect for all of them. So.
Well, congrats, Reed, on the victory. It's your second this season.
Thank you, man. Yep, feels good.
Reed Foley gets it done tonight for JCR. Once again, I'd like to thank the top to Reed for taking the time to speak with us. Reed Foley, Jordan Jurassic, Tyler Truex here on Grid Vision. And you heard the words there for Reed Foley. Not going to be here next week as of his commitments in turn in Nashville as part of being a country music star. But our 4 championship drivers unofficially decided. Ryan Truex, who's missed the past 2 races since picking up the win at Dover. Sean Bounty, Jordan Jurassic, and Matt Cherry all advance unofficially to battle for the title for 200 laps at Miami.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting one. Justin, I cannot wait. I mean, all 4 of those drivers are very talented. They've won this season. I mean, I think it's going to be an exciting one. I mean, it's going to be a title fight, and I cannot wait to see it.
And keep in mind, with that being a longer race, the stages to be longer, 25 and 65, some of the longest stages of the season. Here's a look at the weekly schedule, meanwhile. As talked about, NIS still in action despite being in week 13. They'll be at Kansas for open action, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Then the major series heads to Crandon to play and race with some trucks in the mud. 9 p.m. Eastern time for the coverage there. Then it's a doubleheader at Kansas and Atlanta Super Speedway this upcoming Sunday. GRL action in the early part of the day and some special action during the Sunday night here on Grid Vision. In turn, though, as we get set to go, but thank you for tuning in for tonight's coverage, the last race of the Dark 8, as we get set to decide a champion next time out. Next week, Homestead Miami Speedway, 200 laps, all to decide who wins a title here on Grid Vision. For the rest of our crew, for Brian Britt, for Austin Derbyshire, I'm Justin Prince saying so long to the rest of your evening. You've been watching the final race of the Dark 8, the Thundercloud iRacing Series playoffs presented by TLC Incorporated from Michigan International Speedway. Congrats to Reed Foley, your winner from MIS.